Hello Darts Nuts, welcome to Darts Review channel. So, as promised, I finally got round to doing the update on the Target Tor. I did say it would take me quite a while with us having a dodgy elbow, but I finally done 10,000 darts throwing at it. So what I'm going to do is just give you a quick look at it, and I'll put it back up on the wall so I can use the camera to have a closer look at it, which should be easier. It's hitting my elbow, so I'm going to have to put it down. But on the whole, like I've said before, I think it's really hard to choose the best boards at the moment because they're all doing pretty well. But there's a couple of little things I need to talk about it. So I'll get it on the wall and we'll have a closer look at it. Right, I've got it back up on the wall, but as you can see, it still looks pretty decent. I think sometimes the camera probably makes it look a bit better than it actually is, but I don't think it's too bad at all, to be honest. There is some little bits of the fibres coming out there, but nothing like major. The spider has stayed fine. There's nothing happened with the spider that I can report which is bad really. It's still nice and flush to the surface. Not seeing any major bends or breaks or anything like that. Not noticing anything lifting. But as you can see, it's probably not healing the holes up to the best, but it's not too bad overall. I mean, it's not perfect. I don't think any of the boards are. The only thing, I'll just have to put the camera down and get a dart just to show you. So as I was going to say, the only thing I have noticed is that obviously where you've been thrown the most, which for me has mostly been around the top part of the board because I was just concentrating on throwing on there. It's kind of like broken up a little bit, but it's still quite firm. But in other parts of the board, like around here, even though I haven't used it that much, it feels as if it's got a little bit harder than it was when it was new. But again, that could be just down to the conditions that I'm using it in. It has been in the loft area a fair bit, and then it was moved into another room. But the loft is kind of like coldish on the night when the weather's bad and hot during the day, so it does cause problems, I think, when you go through extremes of temperature like that. But overall, it's still pretty good. There's a little bit of inky black spots on there, whether that comes mostly from the points or a transfer from the black sections of the board. It's always a little bit hard to be sure, but it's not excessively bad. I've not noticed anything that's worth complaining about in that regard, but I have noticed a few times when darts seem to be hitting random hard spots and they have bounced out. I've noticed that a little bit more on this than on some of the other boards I've used, but again, it's not like a huge issue to be complaining about. But if I push the dart in here, just like a normal, like not excessively hard, I can see it goes in a fair bit, but if I push it in like there, it's hardly gone in at all. So like I say, I don't remember it being as hard as that when I first got it. So for some reason, even though I haven't used them areas all that much, they just seem to have become a little bit harder. The bull area is not too bad. It's still okay. That the 25 area, a little bit firmer, and it seems a bit random again. It seems to be harder in some spots than others, but overall it's nowhere near as hard as the Aspar has gone. That's just gone ridiculously hard now. It's almost like concrete, so unless you've got really sharp points, they just don't seem to stick in. Now, like I said, there's not a great deal of issues, nothing really major to complain about, but I'm still not a fan of like the big logos. I think it would still be better if they were smaller. I have become quite a fan of the Target numbered ring though. I just like how it's so much neater and flatter and out of the way. So as you can see, even though it is out of the way, I've still hit it plenty of times, but that's probably more to do with my dodgy elbow and not being able to throw that great at the moment. But I'll just give you a look around the board so you can have a look, and then that will be it basically. And I guess I'll just have to update again after another 10,000 throws. But like I say, it's hard to say which board is best really, and I think the boards can vary so much from batch to batch, and also depending on the conditions that they get used with, and also even the way that people throw the darts at the board can affect it. So there's lots of things to take into account, but I don't know. I think it's pretty good board actually, and there's probably more pluses than negatives. There was just a little bit of a worry about the fact that it seemed to have got a little bit firmer in parts, and maybe a few random firm spots that I wasn't expecting. But other than that, it seems to be wearing quite well. So there you go, that's the end of this update. I'll see you on the next one. Happy darting.